The students who choose to join us here in learning, researching, and creating are bright, unique, and passionate, a joyful presence to be amongst. Across our campuses, faculty, staff, and students work together in myriad ways to advance groundbreaking research and tackle the most pressing issues of our time. But I must say that I am most proud to be a Black Bear because of the caring, interconnected community that is most special and uncommon about the University of Maine and the University of Maine at Machias. There is a culture of shared growth and success that leads faculty, staff, and students to regularly go out of their way to help each other and connect with each other. Personally, I remember a time in my first year here when we were staging a production of Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard, and the scenic design called for some real trees and branches across the stage. I contacted some folks in the School of Forest Resources, and the next day there were actual black cherry trees and branches delivered to the doors of the theater for our use. This was my first opportunity to even meet a single person in that department, and yet they were immediately willing to give of their time and resources with just a simple ask. Experiences like that have been innumerable over my years at UMaine. There are so many more stories of impressive accomplishments, collaboration, growth, and caring in store for you in today's address. It is truly a wonderful time to be a Black Bear. Now, will you please rise and join me in welcoming Hannah Friedberg, a third-year double major in music education and music performance with a vocal concentration. She is from Bangor and currently lives in Orono. Thank you, Hannah. Next, please welcome Tiana Bucknor, a UMaine soccer athlete who plays defense to deliver the land acknowledgement. Tiana is a graduate student in kinesiology and physical education program. Her hometown is Milton, Ontario, Canada.
Hello, everyone. The University of Maine recognizes that it is located on Marsh Island in the homeland of the Penobscot Nation, and the University of Maine at Machias is sited in the homeland of the Passamaquoddy Nation. Both of our universities recognize that in these homelands, issues of water and territorial rights and encroachment upon sacred sites are ongoing. Penobscot and Passamaquoddy homelands are connected to the other Wabanaki tribal nations, the Maliseet and Micmac, through kinship, alliances, and diplomacy. UMaine and its regional campus also recognize that the Penobscot, Passamaquoddy, and the other Wabanaki tribal nations are distinct, sovereign, legal, and political entities with their own powers of self-governance and self-determination.
Thank you, Tiana. It is now my honor to introduce our president. Joan Ferrini-Mundy has been the 21st president of the University of Maine for almost 5 years. She is also the president of our regional campus, the University of Maine at Machias. Since 2021, she has been the Vice Chancellor for Research and Innovation for the University of Maine system, leading efforts to make the University of Maine's research infrastructure accessible to and supportive of all universities and faculty in the system. Prior to joining the university, President Ferrini-Mundy was the Chief Operating Officer of the National Science Foundation. Her career spans the fields of mathematics education, STEM education and policy, teacher education, and research administration. She has numerous awards and recognitions and currently chairs and participates in groups at the international, national, and state levels. She is proud to be a faculty member at UMaine's Department of Mathematics and Statistics, an honorary member of All Maine Women, and an honorary Master Gardener volunteer. President Ferrini-Mundy holds office hours regularly and has been known to visit a math class, give a guest lecture in education, and definitely roots for the Black Bears even when they play her alma mater, UNH. Please welcome President Ferrini-Mundy.
Thank you so much, MJ, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm pleased to be here, and I'm pleased to introduce the next speaker, who is Chancellor Dannel Malloy, the Chancellor of the University of Maine system. He is nearly completing his 4th year in that role, came to us from having served for 8 years as the governor of the state of Connecticut. Chancellor Malloy's leadership for this system, for this state, and for our university is just remarkable. I will point to simply 2 areas where he has made significant change already for us here in the University of Maine system. One is in his leadership and role in helping us to secure the historic $240 million gift from the Harold A. Alfond Foundation, and the second is in his leadership in enabling us to secure unified accreditation through our regional accreditor, NECI, just in a very short time. I will also say that he is an incredible friend to the University of Maine, to what we do here. He recognizes what it means for us to be a flagship land grant, sea grant, space grant, R1 university. I'm very grateful for his colleagueship, his friendship, and what he is doing for our system and our university. Dan.
The president was kind enough to invite me to give a greeting, and I do that. Greetings. But more importantly, I want to say thank you, because you are the folks that have gotten us through our COVID experience, and without the sacrifices and hard work and leadership demonstrated in the classroom by administrators, by our staff, and quite frankly by our students, has been nothing short of remarkable. But I do want to say thank you for all of that. I don't know what is actually in the president's address. I'll, like some of you, will waiting to hear and experience that. But I am aware that we face challenges in our system. We have different levels of challenges based on which institution we're talking about. And we're likely to dwell on those challenges to a very great extent, perhaps worrying about challenges too much. Because I think in each one of the challenges that we face going forward, demographic or infrastructure, or the incoming size of the incoming class, we might, in our concentration on those challenges, forget about the opportunities that present themselves on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. This is a great university, as is the campus at Machias, the university there. We have great faculty, wonderful students, great possibilities in one of the finest states to live in the nation. Let us take stock of who we are and what those possibilities mean for us in the short run and in the long run. After all, it is our obligation to leave this university, these universities, better for our having participated in their existence, and those students better prepared. And what better way than to demonstrate our willingness to face our challenges and build strength from them. Thank you for having me.
So, welcome to the 2023 State of the University Address for the University of Maine. I'm very pleased to be here in Minsky Hall and to be connecting virtually with those who may be watching or who will watch eventually. This is always an exciting and gratifying talk to prepare because there's so much that goes on every day at this great university and so many accomplishments of the phenomenal students, faculty, and staff to be proud of and to share. I'd like to welcome all of our distinguished guests, and at the risk of with the risk of leaving someone out, I'll do this very generally, but of course our Chancellor is here, members of the Cabinet are here, please raise your hands. The group of deans is here from the university, several senior administrators from across the institution, and I noticed a number of our coaches from athletics are here. So everybody that I just mentioned and anybody else who's distinguished, just raise your hand. You're here. Delighted to have you, and thank you. Thank you so much also to the many, many people who helped put this event together. It's a little bit of a multimedia show, as we did last year for the first time, and so we're very pleased to be able to have that work. I do think we need to start with athletics and what happened in this past weekend. I mean, it's already been a great year for athletics, and there's much we could say about that, but I'll just pick out a few things from the weekend. Men's basketball's overtime win at Binghamton helped them earn their highest win total since 2012-2013. And they clinched a spot in the America East tournament. They play tonight at 7 p.m. in the pit. So they're probably busy getting ready right now. Women's basketball clinched the number 3 seed in the America East tournament after defeating Binghamton. Bad few days for Binghamton. On senior day, the team earned the right to host a tournament playoff game tomorrow night at 7 p.m., also at the pit. Men's swimming and diving set multiple new school records in relays at the America East Championships, while women's swimming and diving had 2 students attain medals. And then men's ice hockey swept Boston College at home for their 3rd win in front of a sellout crowd on Saturday and earned the right to host a Hockey East playoff game at Alfond Arena after hosting UMass this coming weekend. So congratulations. Let's applaud athletics, our students, our coaches, our leadership. Fantastic. And I guess I'm going to ask if the student athletes and athletic staff in the audience would stand and be recognized here. We're very excited about all the good work you do. Okay. Fantastic. So today, as we've done in the past few years, there will be other members of the community joining me throughout the next hour or so here in Minsky and virtually to help tell the story of the state of the University of Maine and to look to our future. We've come far in the past year, and I'll say a bit about that. Then I'll turn to the introduction of the UMaine Compass, which is the exciting result of the President's Commission on Excellence and Equity, UMaine 2025, which completed its work last year. Okay. Last year in my State of the University address, I talked about 2 major themes: commitment to making a difference and a culture of caring. There is no question that you are making a difference for the people of Maine, for the region, for the nation, and for the world. And so here are just a few examples. Watching the slides. Ready to go to the next one. The brilliant faculty, staff, and student engineers, computer scientists, and technicians in the Advanced Structures and Composites Center built the world's first 3D printed house made fully of bio-based materials. It's out behind the ASCC right now being tested for how well it responds to the cold, snow, and ice of our Maine winters. You can go to the video. This is the house printing, in case that wasn't obvious. And as it wraps up, I'll just say, it actually took not 30 seconds, but approximately 330 hours to print. But Habib Dagger tells me that his goal is to bring that time down to 48 hours. And then when one is done living in the house, it can be ground up and recycled. This UMaine developed technology will make a difference for affordable housing for the state of Maine and for beyond. In the category of making a difference, we should congratulate the School of Policy and International Affairs, SPIA, which received the 2022 Service Provider of the Year Award from the Maine International Trade Center, reflecting SPIA's contributions to workforce development. Are there folks from SPIA here? They're watching. I'm sure they're watching. Professor of Biological Sciences Brian McGill, whose research focuses on modeling large-scale ecology and global change, has been named one of the most cited researchers worldwide by Clarivate. Robert Lopez Anito, the Malcolm G. Long Class of 32 Professor of Civil Engineering, has just been named the 2023 Distinguished Maine Professor by the University of Maine Alumni Association. Jasmine Saros, a professor and associate director of the Climate Change Institute, has received a Fulbright Distinguished Arctic Scholar Award to Norway for next year. Thank you, Jasmine, for allowing me to visit your research project last summer. UMaine historian Ann Knowles has an NEH grant for Placing the Holocaust, a project that will bring 15 years of research to high school and university classrooms nationwide. Congratulations to UMaine math major and computer science minor Kaya DeVries, and a math team alum from Freiburg Academy, who won the Edmund Landau Award from the American Mathematical Society. Jeremy Pena, an alum, won the World Series MVP Award. Sandy Karen, alumna and professor of family relations and human sexuality, is the 2023 inductee into the Maine Women's Hall of Fame. Jacqueline Gill, Associate Professor of Paleoecology and Plant Ecology, is one of the inaugural recipients of the Eric and Wendy Schmidt Awards for Excellence in Science Communication from the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. 2022 marked a first for UMaine, as 5 faculty members were selected in the same year for the prestigious National Science Foundation NSF Career Award. And the entire university achieved the coveted Carnegie R1 status in research. All of this means that we are making a difference. The award-winning programs and people recognized here are recognized because what they do makes a difference, and we all should be so very proud. We make a difference for our state through UMaine Cooperative Extension, and they have the numbers to prove it. In 2022, their website received 3.1 million page views. Since 2000, UMaine Extension's Maine Harvest for Hunger program has mobilized gardeners, farmers, businesses, schools, and civic groups to grow, glean, and to donate high-quality fresh produce to food pantries, shelters, and community meal sites throughout Maine. In the past year, this resulted in 168,304 pounds of fresh produce provided to 228 food security agencies located throughout the state. A second theme that I spoke about last year was a culture of caring. A culture that we have at UMaine and at UMaine Machias, caring for our community, our campuses, our students, faculty, and staff. In 2022, the university, along with the nation, came to accept an ongoing COVID pandemic as part of the fabric of our day-to-day lives. We continued all efforts to keep both our community safe, to follow national recommendations, and to abide by public health established best practices, as well as to educate and inform the community as they assumed more and more self-direction and personal responsibility about how to manage their health and consider the health of those around them. The University of Maine system and our universities have weathered this challenging period with compassion, attention to science, and the caring that characterizes us. UMaine and UMM have academic programs that are all about caring. In 2022, the School of Nursing, with several collaborators, implemented a comprehensive, holistic, and inclusive research program called WellNurse to promote resilience and well-being among nursing students, faculty, and staff. Future nurses cannot provide high-quality, evidence-based care if they neglect their own health and well-being. To date, 106 students, faculty, and staff have completed an 8-week, evidence-based, mindfulness-based stress reduction program. What a wonderful model for all of us. The Down East Health Research Collaborative, based at the University of Maine at Machias, is a broadly interdisciplinary partnership pursuing community-engaged research. It involves researchers from across the University of Maine system and beyond, representing many disciplines: public health, sociology, geography, healthcare, psychology, communication, and more, to address seemingly intractable rural challenges. They recently completed a pilot study on injury, health, and substance use among Down East shellfish and lobster harvesters, involving 6 graduate and undergraduate research fellows. This provided new insights into the health challenges facing Maine's fisheries workers and innovative ideas to improve health care and prevent substance use disorder and overdose. And students show us how to care every day. Natalie McCarthy is an elementary education major in our College of Education and Human Development who will graduate in May. She recently arranged for a therapy dog, a black lab named Ellie, to visit the 4th grade classroom at Asa Adams Elementary School in Orono, where she's doing her student teaching. 4th graders loved getting to interact with Ellie and to see how she works. There's so much more that I could say, yet I want to turn to the future now and introduce the UMaine Compass. But we'll start by looking at the past. In 2022, we celebrated a very important milestone in the 50th anniversary of the Climate Change Institute. Let's learn more about that.
We are, now that we've turned 50, one of the oldest multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary climate research units in the world. And we're very proud of the fact that the Institute has evolved over the last 50 years to do many more things, which is what makes it so exciting. We are, in many ways, the glue that holds a lot of climate change together. We're a signature research program. We have partners in the state, we have partners nationally, internationally, so it's really all about good partnerships, collaboration. Graduate students are an integral part of our institute. They're very important to us. I personally consider them to be junior colleagues. There are two things that probably characterize our institute. One is collaboration, and the other one is the concept of change, which is our middle name. We are trying very hard to understand from Indigenous people in the state and in places like Greenland what their view is of what's going on and the way other cultures, Indigenous cultures, view their place in the environment is very important. And of course the local tribes in Maine, there's an immense amount to be learned. We have been primarily the messengers of what's happening. We need to become more involved in the solution. This latest generation, they understand that this is really not just about getting a job and doing all the same things that were always done before, that they can actually do something to have great effect is very valuable.
Isn't that great? I think we can applaud that. It was a great video. So thank you to Paul Majewski and to the entire team of the Climate Change. In 2023, we have another important milestone, the 100th anniversary of the University. Very pleased.
We are, now that we've turned 50, one of the oldest multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary climate research units in the world. And we're very proud of the fact that the Institute has evolved over the last 50 years to do many more things, which is what makes it so exciting. We are, in many ways, the glue that holds a lot of climate change together. We're a signature research program. We have partners in the state, we have partners nationally, internationally, so it's really all about good partnerships, collaboration. Graduate students are an integral part of our institute. They're very important to us. I personally consider them to be junior colleagues. There are two things that probably characterize our institute. One is collaboration, and the other one is the concept of change, which is our middle name.
For our students.
We are trying very hard to understand from Indigenous people in the state and in places like Greenland what their view is of what's going on and the way other cultures, Indigenous cultures, view their place in the environment is
both in and out of the classroom. This includes access to top-notch faculty, valuable research and teaching assistantships, great internship opportunities, cutting-edge technology and instructional resources, as well as support to help create opportunities for all in line with our university's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. I am confident that with your support and the dedication of our faculty and staff, we will achieve these goals and continue to make a positive impact on the lives of our students and the world. And at this point, I'm pleased to announce that we have a video for the centennial commemoration. So hopefully we can show it.
This year, the University of Maine Graduate School celebrates 100 years of advancing educational opportunities and impacting workforce and economic development in Maine and beyond. UMaine has granted graduate degrees since 1881, when Walter Ballantyne became the first student to receive a Master of Science in Agriculture. He became the founding director of the first agricultural experiment station in Maine, supporting the growth of agricultural pursuits in the region and throughout the world. Persia Vinyl White, a novelist and successful businesswoman, was the first female graduate student from UMaine, earning her Master of Arts degree in English Literature in 1882. In 1923, the year of its founding under Dean Dr. George Davis Chase, the graduate school conferred 20 graduate degrees. The first PhD degree was granted in 1960 to Basil S. Farah in the subject of chemistry. Farah, who was born in Nazareth, Palestine, was also the first international student to receive a PhD. Today, the university's graduate student population contains representation from 74 countries and conferred a record-breaking 769 graduate degrees during the previous school year. The graduate school now offers 150 graduate programs, many of which are available partially or fully online. As a leader in workforce development, the graduate school is laser-focused on making a global impact while staying locally relevant. With its recent attainment of Carnegie R1 classified status, UMaine is set apart as one of the 146 top research institutions in the nation. As we look to the future, the graduate school will continue its long history of anticipating real-world needs while generating dynamic solutions that make long-term impacts on our workforce and economic development goals. Stay updated on future centennial events, dig into our history, and share your story. Visit umaine.edu/gradcentennial.
And now I would like to introduce our next speaker. Kody Ashley is a current doctoral student in plant science, working with Dr. John Howe, Associate Professor of Applied Plant Pathology. Kody also received her Master of Science degree in Botany and Plant Pathology from the University of Maine in 2020. Her academic pursuit and research interests lie in the field of soil health optimization. Apart from her research work, Kody Ashley has served as a teaching assistant and volunteers for the Orno, Giving Garden, and the Wilson Center. As a representative for the graduate school government on the Board of Trustees, she is also actively involved in advocating for the needs and interests of the graduate student community. So please welcome Kody.
Hello, everyone. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to share my research and the benefits of the University of Maine Graduate School. My research focuses on sustainable solutions to improve soil health and increase potato yields for farmers. I'm originally from a fifth-generation citrus-growing family in Florida, but as a young person, I was not encouraged to pursue agriculture. I earned a bachelor's degree in biology and said I was destined for a career in the health field. After a few years of searching for my passion in the health field, the Peace Corps and AmeriCorps, I decided it was time to pursue a master's degree. Although I had never even visited New England, I took a chance on an opportunity to work in the Maine wild blueberry industry, studying a fungal disease. To say that my family was surprised is a bit of an understatement, but Maine immediately felt like a natural fit for myself and my partner. After graduation from my master's degree, I worked at North Carolina State University Cooperative Extension. However, when I wanted to pursue another graduate degree, the decision was easy, even if it required a 1,000-mile move back to Maine. I knew that a PhD in plant science at the University of Maine would grow my skill set and help me enhance my career in cooperative extension. At UMaine, I've been able to explore innovative solutions, including a project which I'm very passionate about, uniting the blue and green economies here in Maine, utilizing recovered lobster shell waste and repurposing it as a soil amendment to improve plant growth and potentially suppress soil-borne diseases. The University of Maine gave me the opportunity to build on my natural affinity for agriculture, regardless of my economic background or my lack of family history in academia. This emphasis on diversity of students is the true strength and our future of UMaine graduate education, and it will ensure that invaluable perspectives and ideas are heard. The University of Maine plays a unique role in developing our state's potential. The future in Maine is bright because people like my peers and myself, who are innovative problem solvers, are given a platform to shine. Thank you.
So Kody sets the stage for helping us look to the future. The foundation that our past provides us is critical, but we need to look ahead. This next video is narrated by Dr. Kirsten Jacobson, Chair of the University of Maine Department of Philosophy. I think she is here. There she is. Great. Here you will learn about the UMaine 2025 Commission, which Kirsten co-chaired along with UMaine alumnus, class of 2004, Matt Rodrigue.
In the beginning of 2021, President Ferrini-Mundy launched the UMaine 2025 Commission. This was a project that brought together university and community members to think creatively and boldly about where the university should be come 2025. She asked the Commission to pay special attention to thinking about the role of higher education in contributing to vital issues arising in contemporary times, and to how we could best and most responsibly educate for the challenges of today's society. Metaphorically, the group was tasked with asking what kind of North Star has been, is, and should be guiding UMaine. Over time, the Commission articulated a sense that the university must be dynamic. We must consider it our responsibility to provide every opportunity for University of Maine students and community members to evolve into the next generation of critical thinkers, committed researchers, inspired creators, and engaged and inclusive community leaders. To move forward with this vision, the Commission identified 9 focal areas for the university and our community partners to work on together. At the center of these is the UMaine Compass, a commitment to developing a learning compass for students that can serve as an educational guide throughout and across their lives. The centrality of this commitment is the reason that going forward, the initiative arising from the Commission's work will now be called the UMaine Compass. If I were to capture in a sentence what the work of the UMaine Compass will be, I would say it's the work of learning how to move forward together with nimbleness, responsiveness, and a sense of responsibility, inwardly and outwardly.
I hope you all are as excited as I am to be launching our work going forward on UMaine Compass. I'm grateful to Professor Jacobson and to the members of the Commission for their creative and comprehensive response to what was admittedly a somewhat nebulous assignment. I actually asked that they not think in terms of a final report that would be written, but rather that they imagine and provide us with images and visions for what this could be, and they've done that beautifully. All that we do at UMaine and UMM, from our work over the past several years with the Strategic Vision and Values Framework and so many other initiatives, now can be guided by the tenets and focal areas proposed in the UMaine Compass. We'll follow today's release with the launch of the Compass website, opportunities to join Compass conversations and examine the proposed focal areas, and a communication strategy that engages all of us in shaping, refining, and employing this framework as well as a compass to guide and give direction for what we do and hope to become. I'm going to focus briefly on one of the proposed areas identified in Compass, establishing UMaine as the Green Action University. And I'll be drawing here on the language and material provided by the Commission. Green action, sustainability, protecting our natural resources, this is already a defining identity for UMaine and UMaine Machias. Commitment to sustaining the environment, climate justice, clean energy technologies, and climate action and adaptation are infused through almost all that we do. Maine is in the position of leading the nation and the world in producing new knowledge and engaging students from their first semester as undergraduates in understanding climate, its impact, how to mitigate its impacts, and how to build sustainability in a systemic way. Today, UMaine research and our faculty, staff, and students are helping to lead the efforts ongoing in Maine to preserve and sustain our waters, coastlines, forests, fisheries, and farms with new knowledge, technologies, and actions. We can use UMaine Compass to label and market what we already are doing and to help us dream about how to grow this foundation in new ways. We know that the students of today and tomorrow want a just and sustainable world that they can live in, and they want to understand and help to shape it. A sustainability asset map developed last spring shows more than 100 programs, offices, and resources for climate and community resilience at the University of Maine. Examples range from the expanded food and nutrition program, the Bodwell Center and the Black Bear Exchange, the Maine Mass Timber Commercialization Center, our 7,894 acres of forested university land, our advanced composting facility, the UMaine Machias GIS Laboratory and Service Center, and dozens more. And the UMaine Energy Center project, in its planning stages now, will be a model for how to power our campus sustainably. The students who have been involved in Divest UMS and its successor group, UMaine Climate Action, are out ahead of us, naming this key priority of green action. Scientists in the School of Earth and Climate Sciences, who are also a part of the Climate Change Institute, have discovered a mechanism that explains rapid glacial retreat at the end of the last ice age, and it may be accelerating glacial melting today. The Zealandia switch draws from a combination of global atmospheric warming and the poleward shift of westerly winds. These changes likely accelerate the recession of mountain glaciers in the mid-latitudes of both hemispheres. I had the privilege of visiting this research group, including students, at their field sites in New Zealand recently. Led by Professors Aaron Putnam and George Denton, our National Academy of Sciences member here at UMaine, this work traces the shifting glacial coverage around the globe by measuring rare chemical isotopes that accumulate in rock surfaces once they are uncovered by glacial ice and are exposed to cosmic rays. The students I visited with were doing the painstaking, precise work of taking these samples. Talk about making a difference through research in the fundamental understandings of our planet. What better evidence that we are a green action university?
I'm Lauren Woods, and I'm a master's student in the School of Earth and Climate Sciences at the University of Maine. I am in New Zealand investigating the impact of the Southern Hemisphere westerlies and the Indo-Pacific warm pool on glaciers and climate during the last ice age. I will be comparing glacial records from New Zealand to those in the Western United States to better understand these important climate components.
Hello, my name is Alexander Roman. I'm currently a PhD student at the University of Maine. I'm currently in New Zealand studying the glaciers, looking for clues of the Little Ice Age, which was a cold event that occurred several hundred years ago. We're trying to figure out if it was a global climate event or not. Now, being able to understand global climate events of the past and why they happened and what happened will help us further understanding on what the climate might be doing moving into the future.
My name is Peter Strand, and I'm a PhD student at the University of Maine in the School of Earth and Climate Sciences. And I'm here in New Zealand to understand the global climate system. This lake behind me was formed when the last ice age glaciers of New Zealand rapidly retreated at the end of the last ice age, a time period known as the last glacial termination. Understanding the global signature, footprint, and timing of this major climate event is important for understanding ongoing climate change.
We were leaving Peter and Xander in their research site as you saw that helicopter take off. It was a little disconcerting to me. Lauren was with us. But I want to thank the three students and their faculty supporters and team. my understanding of what we do there and how that can and should be even more a part of the day-to-day life on this campus of what we do here at the University of Maine is now changed. Let me turn briefly to a second proposed focal area in the UMaine Compass, and that is well-being and then the closely related belonging focus. In this area, the Commission proposed that UMaine work intentionally on creating a healthy scaffold for the whole student to help them become a wise member of the world. Compassion, kindness, and empathy are key to student success as UMaine emerges from the pandemic and as our nation and our world face challenges of war, gun violence, racial injustice, and so much more, as we prepare the leaders for tomorrow here at the University of Maine and the University of Maine at Machias. The Compass work pushes us to do even more, to think more deeply, and act more expansively. This would include focus on mental and physical health and well-being, on work-school-life balance, on support services, on relationship-rich education, all with diversity, equity, and inclusion at the center. We have abundant examples of how such commitments exemplify who we are as a university already, and here are a few. The signage in the Wabanaki language that is in place now both at UMaine and at UMaine Machias. The naming of Karen Boudreau Hall with the intention of inspiring Franco-American students to know this university is for them. The spaces in the Furland building for coffee and collaboration. As we focus on belonging, I will point out that the Maine Day Committee met last week and will meet again before spring break. There is good campus support in continuing things that we really like about Maine Day and adding some new, exciting, and fun activities. The committee has wide representation and buy-in from different departments and groups that have shared their voices. Thank you to the UMaine campus for your thoughtful and respectful discussions and your wide inputs that have gotten us here. The campus has observed Black History Month from start to finish. The Black Lives Matter flag raising on February 1st brought a large group of folks to the center and to recognize the start of this month. The highlight of the event came from the president of the Black Student Union, Priscilla Naglala Mulumi, who empowered her peers to be active in supporting the student organization and the students of color on campus. The following week, we held Lunch and Learn with Dr. Judith Josiah Martin, where she spoke on empowerment, inspiring and motivating students with her words. Belonging is at the center of the Dawnland Bridge micro-credential created by John Bear Mitchell. John is the Wabanaki Center Student Development Coordinator, the University of Maine System Native American Waiver and Educational Program Coordinator, and a lecturer in Wabanaki Studies. The Student Wellness Center is rolling out an opioid fentanyl prevention program, which will include education, naloxone training, fentanyl testing strips, and a widespread information campaign. With the rise in opiate-related deaths in the state, students and all of us should be aware of the risks and know how to help one another. April 3rd will be the Spring Fresh Check Day at the Memorial Union, a mental health awareness event that targets wellness, suicide prevention, and promotes happiness and positivity. At UMaine Machias, the impactful Family Futures Down East program is a two-generation college program designed for parents and their children. It is unique because parents enroll in college preparation and college classes with a cohort of peers and a coach to help guide them. At the same time, children enroll in high-quality education programs. The whole family, parents and children, are working together to achieve their goals. At a recent visit by Maine state legislators to the University of Maine at Machias, we all heard Lauren Sachs, UMM and FFD graduate, tell her moving story of challenge, resilience, and success, causing the audience to give her at least 2 standing ovations. As part of the UMaine and UMaine Machias partnership, we launched the Coastal Year program, focused on well-being and belonging, where admitted UMaine students in certain science majors have the opportunity to study and belong on the UMaine Machias campus for their first year, and then transition to the UMaine campus after a year, or stay at UMaine Machias for the remainder of their degree. And here before you, you see what Coastal Year student Jacob Carter had to say. The experiential emphasis and the small community feel are critical to the Coastal Year program. So I hope you can see why I'm optimistic about the UMaine Compass. It fits what we already are, and we can use it to move forward to where we want to go. In conclusion, I'd like to make a few closing observations. One is that I hope you share my optimism about the future success and impact of the University of Maine experience. The people of UMaine and UMaine Machias represent the cutting edge in caring and compassion, excellence and equity, and vision and vitality. At the same time, we, like so many other institutions of higher education, face challenges. Our location in an aging state in the Northeast compounds those challenges. UMaine has a strong foundation and momentum, with numerous successes in recent years. Other organizations recognize our excellence and our potential. The state of Maine, our congressional delegation, the Harold Alfond Foundation and others, the University of Maine system, and the federal government have shown enormous confidence in our institution. Governor Mills has proposed budget increases for the University of Maine system, and the legislature sent funds our way, the direction of the system and the University of Maine, in the Maine Jobs and Recovery Plan. Senators Collins and King and Representatives Pingree and Golden helped us receive congressionally directed spending projects, or earmarks. The Harold Alfond Foundation invested $240 million in our system, including significant resources for UMaine and the University of Maine at Machias. And multiple other foundations and federal agencies have invested in our faculty, staff, and students who are competing for external grants and awards. We also have had very healthy financial reserves, which is a result of the careful stewardship of those who have come before us. And yet we are faced with the potential of declining enrollment. We have rising energy costs, inflationary pressure on goods and services, aging infrastructure, changing student needs, and a competitive employment market. We are not alone in those challenges, and we need to resolve them with the same commitments guiding us as we have been discussing today. Commitment to making a difference, to caring, to excellence and equity among them. We must focus on our core values from the strategic vision and values work, which are fostering learner success, discovering and innovating, and growing and advancing partnerships. We will need to continue what we have started in the past few months, and for which I thank you. Thinking about new ways of accomplishing what is most critical to us, looking for efficiencies in our operations and our academic programs, bringing in external funding and spending it so that the indirect cost returns come back, and doing the very best possible job we can do in the classrooms, the labs, the research sites, the performance venues, the athletic field. I used to say fields, and now I'm supposed to say places, because not all athletics happens in fields, and in all of our day-to-day work, so that the excellence you all create as hallmarks of UMaine and UMaine Machias is more and more widely known and appreciated. And we all need to do our part to recruit new students who will thrive in these incredible places and who will help to shape and grow our communities to meet tomorrow's opportunities. No matter what the challenges are, the University of Maine and the University of Maine at Machias remain student-focused, with dedicated faculty and staff committed to making a difference. We know that the experience in and out of the classroom that we provide prepares students to define tomorrow. They are caring, compassionate university communities committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our research, innovation, and public engagement in collaboration with our countless community partners not only defines tomorrow, but also makes a difference in the lives of people in Maine and beyond. We are all making significant contributions. You are all making significant contributions, and for that, I thank you. Thanks for coming today. And so, as you will remember from last year, we aren't too good at the ending part of this. We just kind of abruptly end, but I'll be able to stay around and perhaps members of the cabinet to chat for a few minutes afterward. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and keep track of athletics this week. It's going to be amazing. So thank you.